So, ladies, thank you again for joining the goal setting for 2017. What I really love about this time of year is this is where I really get involved in goal setting and figuring out what I need to focus on in order to accomplish things for the following year. It's a time where I get real quiet and settled. I really reflect on the year that has passed and really asking myself, okay, what is it that I am going to be able to do? Where is it that I need to reflect on doing things differently so that I can really prepare myself? So I absolutely love doing this and sharing it with others because I think it's so important that we are able to plan ahead. Obviously, we don't know what the year holds, but it is a place or a time that we can plan, and then we kind of make adjustments as the year goes by. So I am excited about doing that. Let me check on the 3 ladies that actually had trouble. So those who can hear me, send me a message to tell me that you actually do goal setting. Is this something that you normally do? If you are able to hear me, send me a message, or you can do it publicly or privately to let me know that you already do this. And I'll wait for some responses to come through. Okay, if you're still able to hear me, go ahead and send that in. If you just got back on to the call, I see some of you have rejoined it. Make sure you let me know that you can hear. I just want to make sure that the sound is coming through now for everyone. All right, so I'll be waiting for those responses to come through as I move to the next slide. So for some of you, if not all, you may know who I am. I am Natalie Gray Warren. I am actually the founder and leader of the Whole Woman Experience, where I am the transformational coach and speaker. So I did get that some people can't hear still in the webinar. You can call in. The number, you can call in as well through the video. So thank you for that feedback. And you can get both, so you can see it and hear it. And so I'm the transformational coach and speaker for the Whole Woman Experience, something that I have birthed since 2015. So it's been a little over a year that I've been doing that. And I'm also a licensed professional counselor. Okay. They're a licensed professional counselor, and I see women, children, adults, families, and I absolutely love doing that. But in all of the work that I do, it's really about transformation of people and helping you to change your mindset and being able to move into the life that you want to have. So I really enjoy doing that. And so my 10-year journey of doing goal setting started in 2006. It was a challenge that we were given at our church to do life strategic planning. And at the time, I had never heard of what life strategic planning was, how to do it, but I took it very seriously at the time. I really took a lot of time to reflect and figure out what God was trying to teach me or tell me about where he was taking me. And I will tell you that I was initially afraid because there were things on there that I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. How is this possible? So fear came in, self-doubt. But I went ahead and said, let me not plan for where I am. This is the key point that I want us to remember when you're talking about setting goals. You don't plan for where you are, you plan for where you're going. And so in that, that's how empowerment was birthed. And empowerment is really about not this outer power that, you know, people are giving you information or telling you things or imparting in you. Empowerment is about awakening what's already within you. And so I was able to foresee that and say, okay, so I got the name, I got incorporated, you know, I was doing the things, I was getting the bank account, like getting things in order before I ever saw any of this. I started doing that, and it was, like I said, very scary because I couldn't see it, but I had to believe it. I had to say, okay, this is what God is saying for where he wants me to go. Now I've got to do something with it. And so I started putting steps in place. And I started writing out action items, which was a big part of how I started to accomplish goals. I started to say, okay, if I want to get here, then these are the things I have to do. And some of them are very practical things, like I've got to open my mouth and talk about my business, or if I want to, get involved in church and ministry, I've got to move closer to the front. At the time, I was sitting in the back, and I was very quiet and kind of watching and observing. But I knew there was just things I had to do. I had to take classes. I had to, at the time I was in graduate school, so I needed to make sure I was doing what I needed to do for that. So there was a lot of things that I realized that I needed to do in order to get where I needed to go. And so with that 10-year journey, every year I would just plan. And I would say, okay, let me get settled, let me get quiet, and let me see the direction that I feel I need to go into. Now, I didn't always go the straight path. So that was definitely some lessons learned, some things that I needed to grow in. And so I think a big part of why it took a while to get where I am now was because I had to learn some things, and I had to grow as a person. And you're going to have to learn some things and grow as a person. But that's the beauty of it, that you realize the experience, and then you get to share it. And so in 2000, and all the dates run together, y'all. So maybe 2008 or 2009, I started doing things in my home to help people reach their goals. So this journey that you see now didn't start on the platform that I have now. I started in my home, in my living room, in the home that I'm in currently. And what I would do is have them come in. We would talk about goal setting. We would talk about what's your vision. We would help them to decide which one goal or two goals they wanted to work on. And then that kind of branched into 1 year doing an accountability group, which I absolutely love, where each month for an hour we got together. There was 6 or 7 of us got together over the phone, and we talked about what we needed to accomplish and what challenges we needed to overcome, and got feedback from each other. So that was really helpful because the ladies grew, and in 6 months, many of them accomplished more than they ever thought they could in getting that done. And so before we go into more interaction stuff, what I want us all to remember is this, that you have to tap into the frequency. And so you may say, Natalie, what are you talking about, right? Tapping into the frequency is, believe it or not, in your home, you have waves coming through, that radio waves coming through, that waves that are coming through for the TV. And if you don't turn on the TV, or if you don't put the radio onto the right station, you'll never get the frequency. It's always coming through. It's coming through when you're walking outside. It's coming through when you're in your car. But if you don't have it on the right station, so for those who are in South Carolina, they're on the call, if you don't have it on 106.3 or 101.3, I know it's been years, but I think those are the right stations, then you won't get what's coming through. If you're in the Atlanta area, if you don't have it on 102.5 or 104.1 or whatever station you like, if you never have the TV or the radio turned on to that station, you won't get what's coming through. And so I really want us all, as we're talking about seeking the goals that we're seeking, is remember that you've got to have that frequency on, and you got to be open to receiving it. That's been a big part of my journey, really being open to what was coming to me. And so we're going to go on to reflect. So one of the things I think that happens for us all is we start to think about this year, right? Before you move into next year, let's reflect. And what I want us to say is, what have you accomplished this year? So I'm going to open up the line, and I just want you guys to tell me one thing that you've accomplished this year. Anybody want to share?
I finished writing a book I have been working on.
All right, and I know who that is. Thank you for sharing. Huge.
Welcome.
Thank you. Someone else want to share something? Go ahead.
I began to have speaking engagement. I had my first and second.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. One more person wants to share what they've accomplished? And if you want to share either through voice or you can send me a message. I really want to talk about what you've accomplished this year, because sometimes what I've found is we focus on what we haven't accomplished. And if you are agreeing with that, you can send a message by typing it in. Focus on what we didn't accomplish, right? So you think about, oh, I didn't do this, and I didn't do that, and I didn't do this. And maybe you're right. Maybe there are things that you didn't accomplish. But I often like us to look at what you have accomplished. And in the 10 years that I've been doing goal setting, there have been many things that I haven't accomplished. But what I would do is I would just add it to the next year. And I would go, okay, Natalie, you didn't do the certification this year. Next year, this is what you're going to do. And I would be okay with what I did accomplish. And so I think that's huge, because again, oftentimes we minimize what we really have done. And even if it's, I made it through the year, right? Because it was tough. Maybe life challenges happen. They happen to us all. And maybe you didn't get the things done that you wanted, but I made it to November the 12th. That you accomplished something, right? And give yourself credit for that. And I really want us to do that to ourselves and for ourselves because we don't do it enough. All right, so let's get a clear vision, ladies, because what I've realized is if you really can't see it, it's going to be hard to accomplish it. It just becomes really difficult. And so knowing these principles that I've put on here, I want you to just think about them and reflect on them. What I love about the mind is it's such a powerful thing. And your mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It just doesn't. And so if you can see it and imagine it, then you sometimes can see it and actually do it. And so I have, in my time doing this, had to see myself as a therapist, right? Before I was fully licensed, before I had my private practice, I had to see that happening. Before I actually did the whole woman experience, I had to see it. And my brain doesn't know the difference. My subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. And so being able to do that helps me. The other principles talks about your images are more powerful than your intention. And so at the retreat, we talked about the setting intentions. And I really want you guys to set an intention for what you want to get out of this webinar. But know that the image that you put in your head is actually more powerful than that intention that you set. And then the last thing is, you can only hold one image in your mind at a time, okay? So you can't hold the image of you failing and being fearful of reaching whatever your goal is and you reaching it. Like, you just can't hold both in your mind. And so you've got to clear your mind and have a clear vision in order to move forward. And so here's your first assignment. This is very interactive on our time today. I really want everyone to do this for me. So get out a sheet of paper or something that you want to write on, or your phone, and we now use that. And I want you to list 2 unique qualities that you have. 2 unique qualities that you have. And I've given you some examples. So if someone wants to type those in or tell me over the phone, I'd love to hear what they are. I'm going to unmute everyone. But 2 unique qualities. Someone share your 2 unique qualities. I'll share mine. I'll start. 2 of my unique qualities, I believe, are creativity and motivation.
2 of mine are empathic and awesome listener.
Empathic and awesome listener?
Oh, yeah.
Got it. Okay, I want to make sure I heard it. Another person want to share what you believe are your 2 unique qualities?
Yeah, 2 of mine is self-determination and I'm not afraid to mess up.
Okay, I love it. So if not afraid to mess up, would that say you are a risk taker? What would be another way to describe that?
Yeah, definitely risk taker. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And I try to word it in a more positive way, not that what you said was negative, but a risk taker sounds like a unique quality. I like that. Okay.
Okay.
So everyone's still writing. That's fine. Did someone have something to share? Okay. So number 2, go ahead to number 2. You want to list 1 or 2 ways you enjoy expressing this quality when you interact with other people. So you want to list 1 or 2 ways you enjoy expressing these qualities when you interact with others. For me, I do that through supporting and inspiring people. So 1 or 2 ways you enjoy expressing it. If you are on the phone, okay, thank you. I see somebody coming in. Compassion and ambitious. Thank you.
I empower and I activate.
Empower and activate. Those are very active words. All right, so let's move to the next one. Keep writing if you haven't thought of it. There are no right or wrong answers, ladies, so whatever comes up for you is good. So the next question says, what if you couldn't fail? All right, so I want you to entertain that thought for a minute, because sometimes before we even get going, we already think about what's not going to work. Thank you for enthusiasm and passion for what I love. I appreciate that. You can't fail, so assume the world is perfect. Describe it as you see it. What are people doing? If it's perfect, well, how are they interacting? How are they feeling? This is your third part of your personal vision statement. The world is perfect. How are people acting, feeling, and interacting? And write those 3 answers down. So in my world, if everything is perfect, everybody is healed, they're whole, they're growing, they're changing. Someone have a thought on your perfect world, what would it look like?
Mine would be that people are empowered, that they're authentic, and they are fully self-expressed.
Fully self-expressed. Okay, I love it. Someone else want to share what their perfect world looks like? Okay, so keep it going because you're going to make a complete statement. Go ahead. So what you're going to do is you're going to combine all 3 of your answers, okay? So you will make one single statement, which now becomes your personal vision statement. So here is mine. My personal vision statement is to use my creativity and my ability to motivate others, to encourage and inspire people to be whole, healed, and to grow and change and live at peace. So that's how you would bring all of the 3 statements together. So I'll give you a moment to write out your personal vision statement. All right. Give you a few more moments to do that, because this is what I want you to remember. This is going to be the thing that kind of sets you up for your goals that you want to accomplish. And what I'd ask you to do is post this somewhere. I think this is a very important thing. It keeps you, again, directed and focused on what you want to accomplish. So I would ask that you post it somewhere, or maybe buy a picture frame. What I've done in the past is given the ladies a picture frame, and they frame it. Something that you can keep as your personal vision statement. All right? One of the other most powerful things I've done is each year I try to think of words to describe my intention for that year. So for 2016, my 2 words were strategic and intentional. And I really want you to reflect. If those 2 words don't come to you in this moment, really reflect on what 2 words you want to have as your focus words for the year. And I will tell you, this year, I have been very strategic and intentional. And I have had things happen in the last year that have been really, really remarkable. I was able to I don't know if many of you know, but I co-host a radio show, something that was on my vision plan, on my vision board, in my goals, and I didn't know how it was going to happen. So in 2010, I did do a radio show for a one-time thing, and I thought that was it. I said, oh, well, I accomplished that goal. But I didn't know that by me being intentional and strategic, I would connect with someone who would allow me to be a co-host for her show. And I absolutely love being able to do that. It's called Wholeness and Healing for Every Woman. So get your 2 words in mind, and if you don't get them now, reflect on what you want those 2 words to be. All right, so let's go back. We're talking about our success in the past with accomplishing goals. I want to reflect on these things because I think this is what gets in the way. I want to help us work through these mistakes. So the mistakes that I've found in setting goals are sometimes we set them too big, or we have too many of them. The other 2 are they're not specific and they're not written down. And I will tell you that there is a power in writing down goals. I've been doing this for 10 years, and sometimes I will write a goal down and I don't even think about it for the rest of the year, but I've accomplished it. And I'll go, wow, I didn't even realize that I had that as a goal because I didn't even work towards that. You know, I was doing life or working on another goal. But the fact that I wrote it down gave me so much power in accomplishing it. It was like it was in the subconscious part of my mind. And so we're going to look at the mistakes that can happen in goal setting, and I want you guys to be aware of them so you can do something about it and be successful in doing goal setting. So if you would, send me a message and let me know if you've ever heard of SMART goals. I've been working with SMART goals for years, and I want to help us to make our goals SMART. So what is a SMART goal? A SMART goal is specific. It says exactly what you will accomplish. It's measurable. How will you or other people know that you reached this goal? So, if you don't know what New York City looks like and you're in New York City, you might not know that you're already there, right, or that you've accomplished getting there. So you want to know what it looks like. Is it obtainable? So this is the challenge, because sometimes our goals, is it realistic that you could actually get that goal? Is it realistic that I will have $1 million in 2 days? I don't know if that's realistic, unless something happens out of, something falls from the sky, I win the lottery, right? But is that realistic with the efforts that I have currently to be able to do that? Do you have the resources to obtain or achieve your goal? And if not, how are you going to get them, right? You may not have all the goals, all the resources, but how are you going to get them? And is it relevant? I underline the word, why is this goal important to you? Because let me tell you, as I've been working on setting goals and accomplishing them, if you don't remember your why, you may not be successful, because challenges are going to come, obstacles are going to come. But you got to know why you're doing it, because at the end of the day, that's going to keep you continuing to accomplish it, because some goals may be easy, right? Some goals you might say, I'm going to start putting $1 away today, so I can have $365 by the end of the year. And my why is this. Then there are other goals that may take you a little more effort and time and energy, and you've got to know your why. The last one is, when will you accomplish this goal? Okay? So, does anyone ever done a SMART goal before? Give me your feedback. Send me a message if you've done a SMART goal. Oh. All right. Send me those messages. I'll wait a second for that as we start to see the difference. Okay, so I'm giving you some keys. Here's what I want you to remember. In order to have your goal and it be SMART, here are some things you've got to have included in the goal. Who? All right, who's going to be a part of this goal? What are you going to accomplish? Where? Identify the location. When? Which? And why? All right, and I always stress the why, because you're going to need that in order to accomplish your goals. So let's look at the difference between a general goal and a SMART goal. So the general goal says, I want to be in shape. Now, that sounds very general, right? But we often say that. I want to be in shape. I want to lose weight. I want to save money. I want to travel. Those are just very general goals. What you want to do, and to make you more successful, is really have a SMART goal. And so let's look at the difference. I want to be in shape, as evident by losing 20 pounds and wearing a size 6 in the next 6 months. Not only that, I'm going to exercise 3 times a week. I'm going to go to my gym. Yes, I will be giving a copy. So thank you, Nikki. I know it's a lot of information. I will be doing a cycle class. I want to eat 3 balanced meals, and I'm going to eliminate sodas so that I can feel confident and healthy. Now, that goal is very different than I want to be in shape. I want to hear from you guys, your thoughts on the difference between the goals. What do we think? What's the difference between the general goal that you've observed and the SMART goal that you've observed?
I think the general goal is more or less just like, okay, it's an idea that you have, but the SMART goal seems to focus that idea a lot more to see if it's something you really even want to accomplish.
Okay, all right. It gives you more of the details so you can see if you want to accomplish it and how you're going to accomplish it. Absolutely. Anyone else observe? And I will send the slides that had a question that came through for that. And you can have more than one SMART goal to answer questions that came through. Does anyone else see any differences? Does the other one seem more obtainable? The SMART goal.
Definitely, yes.
It absolutely seems more obtainable, and I think that's what's scary for me.
Okay, speak to that. Tell me why.
Well, because a lot of times I have goals that I want to attain, and they're big, but they're also scary to attain. And so when I get to that end goal, it's like, okay, oh my gosh, I'm here. Okay, all right. It's scary.
Okay. Is it all right to feel the fear and do it anyway?
Yes.
Yes, right it is. It's okay. And it might be because the SMART goal really puts you more focused and directed. And so it's like, I want to be in shape. It's kind of, well, maybe, or I don't know how. And if I don't do it, I can excuse myself. The SMART goal kind of holds you accountable.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's the part that gets a little scary because now you have to actually follow through with the things on here in order to reach your goal. Okay, so let's move forward. We're going to talk more about it because I appreciate you guys giving me feedback on SMART goals. I have another question that came through. Thank you. Or another comment. SMART goals give you a start point, and you can see through to the finish line. Absolutely. It does. It does. So let's keep moving forward on some other stuff I want to share with you. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, we're going to practice and get feedback, okay? We're going to give feedback to each other. I often do these very 7 areas of my life each year, and I write out a SMART goal. So I want you to choose one of the areas that you want to create a SMART goal for yourself, all right? And I'll give you about 3 or 4 minutes that you can reflect on that, and then we're going to give each other feedback. Write a SMART goal for one of the 7 areas, and write down what you think could be a SMART goal for it. All right, time starts now. And don't become overly concerned with whether you're doing it right, and just flow with it. We're going to help you if you need help. And another thing, ladies, if the year of planning for a whole year sounds or feels like too much, you can always back it down to 6 months. If that feels like it's too much, you can go to 3 months. If that feels like too much, just plan for 1 month. Here, the idea is to plan, okay? So if it feels too overwhelming, and sometimes it does, to think about, oh my God, what am I going to do in a whole year? Scale it back to doing 6 months. If that's too much, 3 months, a month. If you continue to plan it for a month or 3 months, you're going to get to a year. I mean, it's just going to happen. Time is going to move forward. So don't become overly consumed with that, okay? If that feels too much, scale it back. All right, we have about 1 more minute. Again, you're planning for one of the areas that you want to create a SMART goal for. And I will be sending out the slides and the video or the recording, so the recording will have the slides on them. And what I'd like for you to do is a homework assignment. I like to call them to-goes with my clients. For some reason, to-go sounds better than homework. Is reflect on all of the areas, okay? And even if you just come up with one goal for each area, you're doing something, okay? All right, so we have 30 seconds left of our minute. I'm going to unmute us because I want to make sure that we can give each other feedback. Okay, does anyone want to share a SMART goal? You can either share it verbally or typing it in that you have. Anyone need more time? Tell me that as well. All right, so while we're reflecting, some of you still are probably thinking, one of my goals for 2017, and I try to incorporate this every year and life happens, is I want to be more intentional in building relationships with my friends by spending time with them at least once a month and calling them at least once a month over the next 6 months. And as you guys may know, I'm expecting, so to add another baby in life and businesses, it becomes hard to kind of keep up relationships, right, and making sure that I'm intentional in doing that. But that's one of the SMART goals that I'm putting out for 2017. Oh, and I didn't say why is important. It's important to me because I want to continue to foster these relationships. I didn't say my why. Someone else have a SMART goal that you've established and want to get feedback on?
I think it sounds a little bit harder and a little bit more difficult in my mind, but I'm going to try this. As an example, I'm an author, and I want to, write books that help empower people in their relationships, I guess to not be afraid to foster a positive relationship. And the why is where I'm a little stuck.
Okay. Why do you want to do that? Or why is that important for people to have that?
Well, I think people need companionship. I mean, I know a lot of people say they like to be alone, but I think that when you have that camaraderie of having someone else to hold you accountable in a relationship, I think it helps, with your maturity. It helps with your growth.
Okay. All right. So I heard I want to write books. Let's quantify, what are you meaning? You want to write one book? You want to write 3 books? You want to write 12 books?
Right now, I'll just say one book. I want to, I don't want to, because I don't want to make the goal too big.
Okay. So I would quantify that book, because you said I want to write books. So I want to write one book or a book that addresses relationship. I heard pieces of relationship something, right? So that people can have companionship. And why is this important to you? Because I want to make sure you have your why.
Okay. Well, it's important to me, I guess because I value the importance of relationships.
Okay.
And so in some ways I think it's counterproductive to not, be in positive and mature type relationships. And I think nowadays so many people have such, I don't want to say false relationships, but they don't really understand the value of creating a positive relationship. And I think it helps with growth a lot as well.
Okay. So I'm hearing you say it's important to you because you want people to know the value that you've learned about relationships, or that you know about relationships. Okay. All right. So say that over the next 6 months.
Okay.
Okay. Make sure you say the time frame, or over the next year, whatever your time frame is.
Okay. Definitely over the next year.
Okay. So over the next 12 months or the next year. That sounds good.
Okay.
I have one that was typed in that says, I want to be in a love relationship that is moving towards marriage by the end of 2017 by going out to different social events 2 to 3 times per week to make myself available to eligible bachelors. I think that's pretty smart. I'll read it again. I want to be in a love relationship that is moving towards marriage. So she's gotten very specific, right? She doesn't want a relationship that we just, getting to know each other. By the end of the year, by going out to different social events 2 to 3 times per week. Now, I know this person. Are we able to do 2 to 3 times per week social events? Send me feedback to make sure that's realistic. Okay, I want to make sure that's realistic because I'm thinking about my life. I'm like 2 to 3 times a week. Oh, Lord. Okay, so it's realistic for your life to make myself available to eligible bachelors. Okay. I think that's smart. Anyone else want to get feedback on your goal or share your goal as we're moving forward? Okay. So you can still send them to me if you're still working on it. What I want you to know is a goal without a plan is just a wish, okay? You can put it out there that you want this to happen, but if you have no plan, it's just a wish. It's just something else that you're saying, oh, that would be nice. And it takes just as much energy to wish as it does to plan. That's the thing that I think we don't believe. It takes just as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Because oftentimes when we have a wish, we think about it. We spend time on, I wish I could write a book, and then I would. And you're spending all this energy and time thinking about it when you actually could be planning for it. Okay, so here's what you have to do. You have to think about the obstacles that might prevent you from being successful. So, Monica, if you want to write the book, what are some things that are going to get in the way? For Karen, who shared about relationship, what is the things that are going to get in the way? We have to be aware of that. We don't plan enough for the obstacles, so we can't have solutions. So when the obstacle comes up, we don't know what to do. And oftentimes we give up on the goal or we postpone it. And I don't want us to do that. So oftentimes I have to think about what are the obstacles. And most of the times for me, my obstacle is me. My obstacle is my own limiting belief. A limiting belief is just a belief that you have that limits you. It only will let you go so far. And that the idea is we don't see them as a belief, we see them as a fact. So for me, with doing the whole woman experience, the obstacles was me changing some of those beliefs that I have. And one of them was that I was a burden. For some reason, I got in my mind throughout my childhood experiences that I was a burden. I don't want to be a burden to people, right? So how can I sell and tell people and be excited about what I have to offer if I have in the back of my mind I'm a burden to them? So my solution to that was I had to get a sales coach that helped me understand, Natalie, you're not a burden, you're a gift. And the beauty of this, which I just found out recently at the retreat, God revealed to me, my name actually means gift of God. Gift of God, which is the opposite of burden. But if I believed that I was a burden, I wouldn't move forward in the things that I believe God had for me to do. And so you've got to plan for the obstacles. And then you can put some solutions in place. So with your goal, you want to do that, okay? Here's the other thing, and I did this at the retreat, and people were like, no, but I think it's important. You have to come up with a reward and a consequence for your goal. We don't do that enough, and especially the consequence part, right? So our original goal was about being in shape. That was the general goal that we started with. This individual, what they could do to reward themselves, if she lost those 5 pounds, she could go to the movies. That could be her reward. If she doesn't lose weight, right, she has to drink only water for 2 weeks until she reaches her goal. So she's already eliminated sodas, but now she can't have juice or teas or any other things that maybe she likes. She only can drink the water for 2 weeks until she gets that first step accomplished, okay? So with your goal that you guys have shared and those who hadn't had a chance to share, really think about how can I reward myself for this goal and what are the consequences? And then the last step about action, you've got to have some detailed steps about how you're going to do that. And so I would write out everything I could think of that would help me accomplish my goal. I mean, every small detail. So if it's relationships, maybe I'll get me some relationship books. Maybe I'll get a relationship coach. Maybe I'll talk to people who are already in relationships and get feedback. Or for the book, maybe it's I get more information about research, relationships and helping people and finding out ways that I can communicate. How do I find the people who need this book? Like really action steps that really, really put you in a place to accomplish your goal. And then you've got to get an accountability partner. Let me tell you how important this has been to my life. In 2005, I started with an accountability partner. And it really helped because we will let ourselves down. But when I had to think about facing my accountability partner and saying, I didn't do X, Y, and Z, it didn't feel good. It felt better to come back to her and say, this is what I have done. This is what I have accomplished. And I currently have an accountability partner where we're able to do that. And there's a power in both of us encouraging each other, even if it's just by you doing something. And they go, wait, this is working. Let me try it. Let me do it. Let me catch up. And so accountability partners, think about who that is for you. And even if it's an accountability group, thinking about who those people will be for you, it really, really helps to move you forward. All right, so we're almost where we need to be. Keys to being successful: dream, plan, act. Dream, plan, act. Okay, are the 3 steps that you need. In addition to that, you've got to create time for it. It's just not going to happen. I have learned I have got to create time. And if your goal is worth having, you're going to block out the time every day to do it without excuses. Now, is my life busy? Yes. Is your life busy? Probably yes, right? But if it's important to you, you do it. And you become disciplined. And it says discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. That's a quote. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. I mean, there has to be a form of discipline. And that's where your why comes in, because it does become difficult at times when you're working towards something. And I have to go back to, Natalie, why am I doing this? And that always recharges me to be able to keep going. The other thing you want to ask yourself, and I want us all to reflect on, is what would you lose if you don't at least try? What would you lose if you don't at least try? I will lose the ability to help and inspire people to change. And I absolutely love being able to do that and support people be who God created them to be. And what I would lose is being able to see that happen. And I don't know if that would feel good to me, because I can see people grow and change on TV and I'm crying. You guys probably laugh at me, or I'm smiling, or it just lights me up because I was born to do that. And so you want to ask yourself, what would you lose if you don't at least try? All right, so here's another key. Sorry, I had to get something to drink. Another key is you've got to get out of your comfort zone. I cannot express that enough. Everything that you've ever wanted is one step outside of your comfort zone. And I have been doing that and pushing myself to do that. It's not always easy, but once you do it, you realize that it's not so bad. It's not so bad. And what I found is every time I get that little reach out and do it, or do this, or get that book, or call this person, I've been led to do that. And I've gotten some connections and some divine connections with people that I would have never had I not done that. Believe it or not, I'm very much an introvert. I enjoy doing things like this. I enjoy inspiring and motivating people, but I also enjoy my own personal space and time. And that's where I refuel and recharge. But I know that in order to do the things that I want to accomplish, I've got to get out of my comfort zone, whatever that looks like for you. Whether my comfort zone is I don't like to go to the gym. Okay, well, if that's where your personal trainer is, you've got to get out of that to accomplish your goal. Here's another thing. You've got to write everything down. What happened for me was I would second guess things that came to me. So I would have a thought, right? And then I would go, okay, that's too big, or that's not possible, or I don't have the money, or I don't know anybody who's done that. Like, all this stuff comes to my head that would sometimes discredit the thought, and I wouldn't write it down. But I want you to know you've got to write stuff down as it comes to you, and not kind of throw it away or just kind of think, oh, that was kind of weird. Why did I think that? Because I do believe that things will come to you. I call them downloads. And so I remember in 2009, I got a idea or a goal or a vision that I would be creating a curriculum for leaders in ministry. And I remember writing it down and starting to work on it. So from 2009 until 2013, all the years run together, I was just working on it, not knowing when, where, how, but I was writing everything down that would come to me. And I got a phone call from an elder at our church at the end of the year. She said, Natalie, we had a meeting, and we were thinking about you, and we want you to write an assessment tool for leadership. Now, had I not written it down, had I not started working towards it, I would have panicked, because this is December, okay? So everyone's life is very hectic in December. I have holidays, I have work, I'm trying to do all these things. I was trying to think, I was pregnant at the time. I think I might have been pregnant at the time. So anyway, just a lot of things going on in my life. But she said, when can you get it to me? Had I not written stuff down, had I not been working on it, I would have told her months. But I was able to tell her, give me to the end of the month because it was the holidays, and I'll get this to you. But I was writing everything down. And so people with clear written visions, they accomplish more in a shorter period of time than people without them. So write everything down, ladies. I challenge you to do that. Remember what I said about the frequency. There's always things coming in. And if you're in tune to it, you write it down. And so write everything down is another key. And then here's the other thing. You've got to do one thing every day to accomplish your goals. It's just not going to happen overnight. A lot of stuff that I've been doing has not been overnight. This is a funny story. Not funny, but interesting. So I'm moving next week, and we're moving, sorry, not just me. The family's moving. And I went back through some papers that I had in a box. And 12 years ago, I wrote that I wanted to do women's empowerment and workshops and retreats. And it just blew my heart away because I didn't even realize that was so strong in my mind 12 years ago. And that's a big part of where I am today. And so I can't encourage you enough to do this and to make sure that you follow through with it. And if you mess up, if you fail, get back up and do it again. Some of the goals, again, I've been putting down every year, but I haven't given up on them because I know that they're for an appointed time. And so I want to hear from you all. Well, let's do this one last thing, and I want to hear from you all. What I want you to do, whatever goals that you're looking to accomplish in 2017, is I want you to start to talk about them in the now, okay? Because what happens is you might say, I want to write a book. I want to be in a relationship. I want to lose weight. I want to start a new job. Excuse me. And there are all these I want to. They're like floating in the sky. What you want to do is you want to say I am and put it in the now. And Joel Osteen has a book that says The Power of I Am. And whatever follows I am becomes real for you. And so you would say, I am an author who has written a book about relationships. I am in a healthy, strong relationship that's moving towards marriage. You start to put yourself in the I am mode. I am in school studying whatever it is you want to study. I am a successful life coach who empowers women to be everything that God created them to be. When you put it in the I am, you bring it to your present, okay? And it's not floating in the sky at the end of 2017. You're walking in it every day. And I learned that lesson very powerfully as I was doing my private practice. And I had ran into obstacles and challenges. And I had to tell myself, Natalie, wait a minute, you're not just doing this. This is who you are. You're not just doing therapy. You are a therapist. I've been doing therapy, truth be told, since I was in elementary and middle school, without any knowledge, without any education. That's just who I am. And so the I am brings you to your present. So I'm going to unmute the calls. You can send me in questions if you have questions or you have concerns or comments. As we're getting ready to wrap up, what are our thoughts, ladies? What are our questions?
Well, you definitely made this practical for me. I think you helped me to keep from overthinking it and now lining up with what a SMART goal is. It does feel more like, okay, I need to put this now, and this is obtainable, and yeah, I got some work to do today.
Okay. Thank you for your feedback, Monica. And know this, here's another thing that comes to me as I heard you talking. Know that everything you need is already within you. That to me just really just settles everything about it. I have it already within me. And there are things that I need to maybe connect with other people to get, but it's already within me. So yes, it is obtainable, and you're going to accomplish it. Someone else have a thought? Or a comment or a question. You can send it in verbally or type it in. And I appreciate you guys doing this with me on a Saturday morning. And my kids participated by not bothering me, so this is great.
Natalie,
Go ahead.
This has been so helpful. I think the thing that stood out to me the most, beyond the I am statement, is the idea. I've been struggling with my vision statement, mission statement for like ever. I've written things down, and you know, it seems okay, but it doesn't feel as powerful or as encompassing as I'd like it to be. So your exercise at the very beginning made it so simple. I was like, OMG, really? This is it? So
that's it.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. No, that was it. That's your vision statement that centers everything. Anyone else have a question or comment? I appreciate everybody being on the call. Thank you for your feedback. It helped me to put my thoughts and goals into perspective. Thank you, Nikki, for sharing. I enjoyed doing this, so I'm wanting to do more of it. So you guys send me by email or Facebook messages what your thoughts are, concerns are. I want to focus more on some of the things that will get in the way. I'll unmute you guys. Hold on. I want to focus on the things that will get in the way throughout the year as you're working towards your goals, because there will be things. Procrastination gets in the way, fear, I didn't talk about that. Your own limiting beliefs. Those are things that as you're working towards your goals, they will get in the way. So in 2017, look out for kind of what I will do e-courses on those or more webinars on them to help empower you to do it and to stick with it. How to get an accountability partner or group, how to get involved in those type things to kind of keep you moving. And we had one other comment. So just need to put them in writing. Yes, please put them in writing. Some people are afraid of that for some reason. I don't want to write it down. Maybe it holds you more accountable. But the power of it that I've seen happen for me has just been remarkable. I can't tell you how important that's been in my life over the last 10 years. So, ladies, I appreciate you being on the call. Look out again for e-courses and webinars for 2017. Yay! Coming through Awaken to Power and the Whole Woman Experience. And I look forward to continuing to support everybody be who they were created to be. As you can hear, I absolutely love this and was born to do it. And I appreciate you guys again. Thanks, ladies. Y'all have a wonderful day.